Good morning and welcome to Neal Talk. If you're around the age of 65 or so or 70, then this video is for you. This isn't about anti-aging, creams, or miracle cures. It's about something much more real, the unique, powerful, and sometimes surprising chapter you're in right now. Maybe you recently retired, or maybe you're thinking about it. Or maybe your kids are grown and your parents are gone. And for the first time in decades, the spotlight is squarely on you. And that can feel either liberating or sometimes it can feel a little daunting. Today, let's have a real talk about making the most of it. Let's talk about thriving at 65. The first thing we want to talk about is that we can call it now as we reach that point. To me, I call it a permission slip. For years, our lives were defined by obligations, careers, mortgages, parenting. We often put our own curiosities on hold. Well, that permission slip is now signed. You've reached that point of retirement. So now is you at your leisure. You're allowed to focus on what matters to you. You feel alive. Sometimes you've always wanted to do. You've always wanted to do a watercolor painting. Well, now you have that time. You have permission to do so. You wanted to learn to make sourdough bread. You wanted to just get in the kitchen, just do some things because you've seen it done. You thought, well, I could do that. So now consider that permission slip has been signed. You have permission to do exactly what you want when you want. The goal right now is for you not to be just busy. You don't want to be, I guess, a busybody to have these obligations because you're tired. You're retired. And just realize that you are retired. So, as they say, the permission slip has been signed. The goal isn't to be busy like you used to be. The goal is to be engaged, to follow all your curiosities that you've had over time, that you feel free to do so. Consider yourself to be thriving. You can do everything you wanted to do. That's what you worked for all these years, and that's what you lived for. So let's look at what does that look like. It resets the pillars of our lives, of society, for us as we see it. You don't have to be obligated to be somewhere every day. You don't have to hope that you're doing a good job. You don't have to think about, well, if I need to do something else and I got to get permission from my supervisor management to do so. Or I want to go on vacation. I can't go right now. I got to put it in a year in advance. But those things are in the past, fortunately or unfortunately. But I think that we all need to think of a routine, though, as you reach this point in life, because you want to get complacent and bored and think that you're not worth anything to anyone. You want to be able to keep yourself busy. look for things to do. Find yourself going someplace, just sitting down, talking with people, or going visiting, or just doing things that you know that is a help to someone and to yourself, in a manner of speaking. Also, that you can just look towards being able to just be that person that you have thought, if you had the time, you would do such and such. Well, now you do have that time. Be productive. Be there for someone. Do some things that you've always felt that was worthwhile in doing. Now, let's be real. It's not, in retirement, it's not necessarily all sunshine, because for years, we've focused on being busy, doing things. Now, all of a sudden, we're not required, it's not mandatory. We don't want to get to that point where we're just so complacent and so bored and just think that we're nothing. We're no good to anybody. We don't communicate with people. We don't try to engage in activities that are around us. You may feel lost, a loss of identity after leaving your career. You might worry about health or finances. You might feel invisible in a youth obsessed society. I was watching, looking at a video earlier about this gentleman that have a channel on YouTube called I Show Speed. And it was interesting because he was in Africa doing a tour of Africa. And they were showing all the young folk that were just so excited that he was there. And I gotta admit, I had never heard of I Show Speed before. But I was very surprised that so many young folk, even here in the US and everywhere, have heard of I Show Speed. It's almost like it's a younger generation that we don't know anything about. I know at times we tend to be a little bit surprised at the language that our young people that is around us will use, their abbreviation, whatnot, and we're not sure what they're talking about, what they're saying. But surprisingly, they are engaged. We might not think they are, but they are. At our age now, we want to be engaged in some things, not necessarily what young folk do, but there's a lot of people that are our age that have some of the same thoughts that we do. We want to be able to share and talk and do things. So I'm asking you to look at ways that you can be productive. And in doing so, I have learned that I can go out, talk to folk, go visit with folk, and just sit. One of the things that I think is important is that you find an area where you know that you're doing some good, that you're contributing, that you're showing your self-worth. This coffee is so good this morning. But I drink it every morning and I'm glad about it. This is one of the things that I look forward to doing every day. And let me just say this. As we get older, sometimes we kind of close ourselves off and not want to talk to folk and not want to do things. But don't get to that point. If you feel yourself not talking to friends or not associating, find within yourself to do something about it. Find someone that you go visit from time to time. If you know someone who's sick or in the hospital or even in a nurse home, take it upon yourself. You don't have to say anything to anybody. You don't have to tell people, this is what I'm going to do, and make it a habit. Just do it when you feel like it because it's something that you want to do. I want to be able to share this message and others with everyone about how we as people need that communication, need that uh, connection with people. Therefore, it's imperative that we have it. And it could be that you are reading every day, you're studying, you're focusing on the Bible or whatever the case is, that you're doing something that is constructive to you. Try to do something every day so that you know your worth, your self-worth. Therefore, I ask that if you find any solace in what I'm saying, or you feel that it's hitting home to you, that perhaps you may like to talk sometime and listen to someone who's going through some of the same thing as you are, please comment and subscribe to this channel. I will be here. Thank you for tuning in today. Again, I ask you to subscribe to Neal Talk. Thank you.